All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we told y'all we coming right back. This chapter was too good. Me and Christian here early, dropping it on Saturday. One Piece manga reviews chapter 1040, falling on deaf ears. Didn't it have another name too? What didn't some people say it was like the new generation? Like
it could be.
I saw somebody on Twitter talking about like words don't affect the new generation. Some weird, cool title like that.
It could be a reference to that, like maybe like I don't know,
like the soundproof falling on deaf ears. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But we're back. My name is Lyndon Burton, joined by my co-host as always, Mr. Christian Hollander. Christian, how you doing this week, brother?
Doing very well, very well.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna just jump right into it. As y'all know, the reviews go. We do a basic summary of the chapter just to tell you what happened, and then we go through part by part and do a deep dive on different themes and different things we feel is necessary to discuss. So let's start off. The cover story shows Yanji and Niji thinking of how Big Mom defeated them after Whole Cake, which I think is dope because we didn't get to see that. So we'll dive more into that. Then it jumps right into the fight. We see Damn Punked, the laser beam shooting Big Mom, hitting her, but it's not defeating her. She's not done. She's like, I'm going to still do a move, life or slave. But Law basically puts on Corazon's power and turns off her voice, which allows her powers not to work because she needs her voice and people to hear, kind of like a Pooh's fruit for her thing to work. And so because that happened, Law was able to take out the homies while Kid is still shooting her. And then she starts shooting her through the hole. Big Mom falls into where Yamato is, accidentally, well, maybe not accidentally, grabs one of those bombs and takes it down with her, as well as Kazembo, and explodes the bomb. And as she's falling down, she says some pretty pitiful shit, asking Roger something. We're going to talk more about it. She falls, she hits the ground. The announcer gives it to him. The Surgeon of Death and Eustace Captain Kidd get the victory. Both crews are like, this is huge, this is huge. And then we cut back to Yamato and Momonosuke. They see each other, and Yamato's like, Momo, you're doing it? And he's like, yeah, but we have to get here because we got to get over there because Zunisha's here. And she was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, the person who committed a serious crime 800 years ago, he was Joy Boy's Nakama. So we'll get to all of that good stuff. But Christian, where do you want to begin?
Let's go back to starting with the cover story because
that shit's great.
It's separate from the rest of what's going on, but
I think this has potential to be the best cover story ever.
Right. And I saw a theory on this, and this is something that I actually really hope that happens, where the cover story will have a live kind of view that's being based off of Wano. So this is what I saw. It was that we know that the homies are connected to Big Mom. So if Big Mom's out, it would be interesting for Katakuri or someone else to notice that the homies are sluggish or they're not reacting the way that they're supposed to, while seeing something like maybe Blackbeard pulling up, so that we can see that they're freaking out. They're like, yo, Big Mom left, and now
something's wrong. Yeah.
Or like something's going on.
Ooh, that's a good.
Now we got Blackbeard or someone pulling up.
That's a good point. Because let me add this, because right now I think it's important. What happens to Zeus? Like, what's about to happen to Zeus?
That's what I've been asking too. Like, if now this also brings me to a point I'm gonna make later, where I think that Big Mom's ability is so broken that it's like her homies are her, but they're not. Like
they're alive. Like they're
like she really gives them life because like
that's her lifespan, her real functioning soul.
Real
lifespan. So like, do you think after they die, they're alive?
They're still alive. That's what I'm thinking. And
like Kazembo?
Why I think that.
I think Kazembo's a good requisite. Yeah. Yep.
Because they're not linked to Big Mom like psychically or having the exact same thought processes that Big Mom has. They are individuals who can think for themselves. They have traits of Big Mom. That's why Nami's able to tempt Zeus with food, because Big Mom's a glutton. So therefore Zeus is a glutton.
Good point.
But Zeus is not Big Mom personified as a cloud.
No, Zeus is his own person. Yeah, that's a good point. We're gonna definitely have to talk about that. So, but this cover story is great. I'm very interested how they saved them. or if
And
they save
I'm
them.
also very interested in the subtle way that Oda shows that the Vinsmokes truly are emotionless. You know, Yangi's
Yeah.
basically that nothing's happened, and Niji is looking like he's perfectly fine. He's proud to
Yeah,
have
he's
caught
like,
because
I'm
it
ready
doesn't
to
matter.
leave whenever it's
Like
time.
I
Yeah.
don't care. Like
If I die, I die, whatever. And
if
it's
I
not like
die,
the
I die.
and it's
It
not like the
doesn't matter.
D's where they smile when they no, this is just like fuck
Right.
it. Life
Like
life
whatever.
does not matter. Yeah, real
Whatever.
shit.
And they have the exact same wavelength. Like they're thinking about the same thing because they've
Mm-hmm.
been programmed. They're more like machine-like than they
Than
are
anything.
human-like. So I
Yeah,
like that little
facts.
detail where they're saying the exact same thing. But yeah.
So then it jumps right into it. Kid in law, baby. Kid damn
Right.
punk. Okay. I think for us to talk about this
Here we go.
fight, we have to talk about the thing that's going on Twitter right now. Did Kid succeed? Is this a win for Kid? Does Eustace Captain Kid finally look good? And I saw a lot of Twitter saying no, giving him L's, and I think that's not fair. We talked about this off air. I think this is a win for Eustace Captain Kid. I think Kid solidified himself as the fourth strongest supernova. I know people want him to be the second. Give it time. He will be Luffy's rival at some point. End of series, more than likely. And I think he can become the second strongest supernova, or at least the third behind Zoro. I think it's possible. But for right now, let me just put this in perspective. Luffy and Zoro leading up to, let's not even do New World yet. Let's just do Marineford. Leading up to Marineford, Luffy and Zoro fought a warlord. They fought a god.
Multiple warlords.
Multiple warlords. True. Fought multiple warlords. See, I was just thinking Crocodile at first. You're absolutely right. Fought multiple warlords in Crocodile, Kuma, and Moria. Fought Inaru, who could have been who was warlord strength level. Fought Arlong, who is about warlord commander level, I'd say, give or take. Yeah. And then fought arguably one of the strongest members of the government secret force, the government secret police. They fought the strongest unit and beat them. So that's all before time skip. Marineford happens. Luffy's the only supernova at Marineford. Meanwhile, Zoro is training with Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman. Enter 2-year time skip. Luffy is training with the right-hand man to the Pirate King, and Zoro's training with, again, the world's strongest swordsman. They go, Fishman Island, whatever, toss it. Punk Hazard, Luffy fights Caesar, who, whatever. But more importantly, they show that the fodder of warlord commanders ain't shit. The shit that bugged them ain't shit. Enter Dressrosa, they fight the strongest warlord in Doflamingo and beat him. Then Zoe, they fight Jack. Then go to Whole Cake, Luffy fights Katakuri, beats him, escapes Whole Cake, and has, after fighting damn near all of Big Mom's children, doing all the shit with the Vinsmoke. Meanwhile, Zoro's training on Wano, fighting samurai who are arguably the strongest swordsman outside of Mihawk. And then enter Wano, they go through the gauntlet of Zoro fights all the supernova. Luffy fights most supernovas and then has a whole training arc. Zoro has a mini training arc. And then enter inside of Onigashima, Zoro fights Apu, Zoro fights King, Zoro fights Kaido. Luffy fights Kaido. I mean, okay, so these guys are anomalies.
Zoro fought 100 gifters.
That as well. So when you look at it, the things that Luffy and Zoro do at 20 and 21, respectively now, those are things that people are supposed to do in their 30s and 40s. They are anomalies. Let's throw in Trafalgar Law. Law is getting some of Zoro and Luffy's hockey bloom or Zenkai boost, whatever you want to call it, because he was with them. If Law doesn't fight in Dressrosa, I guarantee you Trafalgar Law is not this strong. So because he fought with Luffy in Dressrosa, because he was with them in Zo, because he was with Zoro and Wano, he had time to train and develop because he realized, I couldn't handle Doflamingo. How the hell am I supposed to handle Kaido? And he thinks, he trains, he figures out a way. Eustace Captain Kid had to fight. The only people that we know of him fighting is someone in Shanks' crew or Shanks cut his arm off. He had to get out of there. And then he fought one of Big Mom's subordinates. He won, but he left. The lowest sweet commander. That is nobody compared to what Luffy fought, what even Law fought. Like, you have to give those three credit for their experience. Rayleigh said hockey can only develop in near-death experiences when you're fighting and you experience things. Luffy, Law, and Zoro went through more near-death experiences and more fights than Kid, and that's why Kid's at this level. So for him to partake in a 2v1 with Law and defeat a Yonko is huge for him. He's going to be a different caliber of strength after this, and it's going to be because of this. This can't be looked at as an L. This has to be a W. And I think Kid from this point on will grow. His hockey will grow. He will learn how to infuse hockey into that bull. If the bull had Conqueror's hockey horns on it, it would be incredible. And I think that's something that can come now that he's seen things from Luffy, because now he knows they exist and now he can go and train for them. So I think this is a W. Also, Kid showed he was stronger than Killer, which people were questioning. He sufficiently showed why he's a captain, why he's the third or fourth strongest supernova, and why he deserved to be on the roof. I think this is a win for Eustace Captain Kid. When you ask me strength of One Piece, obviously it's the Admirals, Kaido, Dragon, Rayleigh, Luffy, Zoro, Law, then Kid. I'm putting those four over all of the Yonko first commanders, because to beat Big Mom in a 2v1 to me is greater than if they fought individually, one Yonko commander one-on-one. To beat a Yonko that says how strong they are, they're at the bottom of the tier, but they're in the tier nonetheless.
Yeah. So that is the most like detailed delineation of, what Lynn and I have both been saying, where, I know a lot of people put Kid on this high pedestal for what I refer to as, these indirect comparisons to Luffy, both having the highest two bounties in the supernovas in Sabri Archipelago, them both having right-hand men who are supernovas. So you get that comparison, but we know that Kid's bounty was high because he was
a criminal. It wasn't because he was fighting nobody.
Where Luffy's doing things that is flipping the entire world upside down.
Like Rob
constantly.
to beat and fight
casually
Rob Lucci,
to help his friend. He, goes through the freaking gates of justice.
People don't understand how big of a feat that is.
One of the most elusive, secret agent groups with one of the world government's most desired what do you call it?
Powers.
And powers, just to get his friend back.
And Zoro fighting the right hand of that Nkaku, who is super strong.
We haven't seen that from Kid yet. So you can't really expect Kid to be doing the same thing Luffy has been doing. On my end, I've been seeing people think that Law was going to be the sidelined character because Luffy is on the roof piece, 1v1 in Kaido. They're like, Kid's about to 1v1 Big Mom.
No.
And it's like, we haven't gotten, the actual portrayal for that to happen. And another thing, this just comes from, me reading between the lines with facial expressions. We saw the shocked looks on Law's face on Roof Piece, and we remember them from Dressrosa. If you pay attention to how Kid and Law were talking on the sidelines during a lot of Roof Piece, Kid was like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah, what the hell is
Luffy
this?
Doing this?
I've never seen powers like this. Law's like, bro, you have to be on this level. This is where we're at. To beat them, you have to be here. Yep.
Another thing to this is that, we know hockey is tied to willpower, right? Willpower you can then, tie to ego. So Law is over here talking about, stop telling me what to do. Kid's out here talking about stop telling me what to do. We know for Kid, he's a conqueror. So he's definitely not going to like that. Luffy doesn't like that. Zoro doesn't like that. But the point is, Law and Dressrosa got to see up close and personal how much different Luffy was from him. And even though he is a comrade, he said, you know what? I got to work on myself.
Yep, I got to get stronger.
I knew Luffy was my trump card, but I didn't expect it to be bailed out like this, bro.
Yep.
So
I thought I could have killed Doflamingo.
Right.
He legitimately
Luffy was supposed to be plan B. He was supposed to be
my
backup.
He was supposed to make it easier for him to kill Doflamingo, not take the fight over completely.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So he went back to the lab. We talked about this last chapter, and he worked on himself. Kid just got to see this. Now, Kid knew this. Again, I love to talk about this, but originally in Salvador Archipelago, when Luffy originally declared he was going to be king of the pirates,
Kid respected it, yeah.
The anime where it's just a pause. Kid's just looking at Luffy, and then you see he's like, hell yeah, like you are the type of pirate that I can actually respect.
Like, yeah, and like so, you're a real rival.
You're a real one, you know? So we see that again. Kid is up here talking to Zoro. He said, yo, you blocking ocean sovereignty saved our ass. That was dope, bro. He's looking at Luffy. Luffy in Gear 4 giving it to Kaido. He's like, yo, what
is nuts. This? Yeah.
This is nuts. So he said, all right, I'm going to get in my bag. So Kid is in his hockey bloom. Currently, we are watching his great. So to assume,
after this, he's going to be dope. Like, it's going to be nuts.
He's in a growth period as we speak. So, you know.
And I think his devil fruit's going to get stronger because, like I was telling you, there's a theory that the person who had his fruit before assigned the magnetic things to the island to the different islands to allow pirates to transverse the Grand Line because the Red Line forced it to be to where the oceans weren't free. So the only way you can navigate is through the electromagnetic pulls, and that could be something Kid's fruit does and is allowed to do. So I think when we see Kid in the series, that's going to be the Kid everybody has been waiting for. That's going to be the Magneto.
But, I mean,
that's going to be the Shiki.
Without a doubt. I mean, to me, we were talking about this earlier. You know, the thing that I love the most from Kid is not even his EMP railgun. It is truly a sign, because when he masters that
makes him Magneto.
I mean, it's not even just about Magneto. Like, he can now affect things that Magneto can't.
Yeah,
which is the main allure of a sign. That it literally, his awakening allows him to now affect anything he wants. But at the same time, you also have to understand, like, let's play devil's advocate in the sense that Kid is so weak, he won't be able to, like, counteract these attacks. Just by using a sign at its highest level, he can counteract these attacks. Let's say he's going up against Fujitora. Fujitora decides to drop a meteor. If Kid decides to assign the meteor and Fujitora,
it's game over.
His own meteor. He can do the same thing with any of Akainu's punches. You know, if Kizaru is bothering him, he could be like, okay, well, I will assign the opposite so that you're repelled from me. So you can
do the same with Law. Like, you can have your room on me,
repelled.
But yeah, I'm repelling you in your room far away.
When Kid masters a sign, that's going to be scary.
Yep.
That is what people are waiting for. He's not quite there
yet. Not there yet.
But the seeds are there.
Yeah.
That's going to be crazy.
And it shows, like, how good of a character. Like, people don't realize to beat a Yonko is huge. Like, that's fucking huge. And they did it. The narrator said they did it. She is done. She's not getting up. It's over with. Right. Law was the MVP of this fight. He proved that he wasn't support. But I think Kid wasn't support either. I think he was, if anything, Law was D-Wade. I'm going to use a basketball reference because Christian's a basketball fan just like myself. Law was D-Wade in the Kobe, I mean, not the Kobe, in the Shaq in D-Wade first championship where D-Wade took over and Kid was Shaq. Shaq was still Shaq dominant, but D-Wade was that much better. That's how Law and Kid were. And for people that need a more modern reference, Law was KD when KD joined the Steph Curry Warriors and Kid was Steph. Steph scored 20 points, but KD had 30. And, like, Kid still got 20, but Law got 30. Law was just that more dominant.
To also put this into context, I recently saw this, and this is something that a lot of people have probably already realized, but Law's devil fruit by itself is worth more to the world government than Kaido or Big Mom.
Yeah.
His devil fruit has a bigger worth. It was worth $5 billion. Berries. Kaido and Big Mom
were
$4 billion
a piece. Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of makes sense that.
But it does. Like, look at when, like, if you okay, so I have to assume because Law awakens his fruit, he has K room, and now he has R room. Does Law have one for every alphabet of the letter? I mean, for every letter of the alphabet.
I would not be surprised.
But these are the only ones he has unlocked right now.
I definitely don't think he has like a 26 unlocked abilities from his awakening.
That'd be crazy.
Potential to do it. Yes, I believe.
Oh yeah, I don't think he has it unlocked right now. I think he may have. Like, I think it's just these two.
Would he have 26 abilities? Probably so.
Yeah.
I don't even know like what the theme would be, because I mean, like, you could say it's like based off of the senses to a degree, because like, okay, you can block out sound, and then like
I thought it was just different types of like different types of things that happen in a hospital. Like, you got the waiting room. I feel like that's our room. K room is like the scalpel, like going deeper and stuff. So I figure he has each one for a different hospital. Like, his defense one is the pulling the curtain thing. Like,
no, okay, maybe the name thing. No, I get that. I'm saying like,
what the powers actually do. I don't know.
Like what the powers do. Like,
Law's fruit's so sporadic that he has different. Like, who would have known he has Corazon's fruit? Like, that to me makes Corazon's fruit useless.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm cool with that, because like that, I think that's a delineation of like Luffy's Red Hawk that he apparently like got from Ace. Now we know like that's actually vulcanization, and then I think that a lot of Conqueror's hockey users can produce fire
and elasticity,
and his elasticity, but it was obviously showcased thematically as like this passed on will.
Yeah.
And so it's the same concept. But I was saying like Shambles, it's like he's switching two things, or he can switch personalities. So it's like, what if you do like a lung transplant? So he can switch.
True.
So like, what would silencing someone be? Like, is that like, I don't know.
Yeah, so, see, I feel like that's the waiting room. Like, y'all are in the waiting room. I'm taking all the sound out. Like, be quiet. Yeah. Who knows?
Something like that.
Law's fruit is crazy.
It's definitely an inherited will type of thing.
And that panel was great. When we saw Corazon and he was like, let me, this technique cancels out every sound you make. This is in the honor of the man who saved my life. Like, that is great. I feel like with this chapter, the way to talk about it is the way we're doing it, going through each person, because it's just a fight. And
I mean, I mean, like there's other levels to this as well. Like,
true.
I'm expecting, when I first started this, I was like, okay, this should be the resolution of Big Mom's defeat, right? So we should see how she reacts to the EMP.
Oh, we're gonna get to Big Mom's ass, but if you because I gotta tear her ass up. I put a poll on Twitter.
So it's like, okay, so when we were talking about this off air, I don't know if she's going to be as condescending in the official, where she's going to say this tickles.
Oh, yeah.
But based off the panel of her smirking, it does look like she's pretty much capable of tanking this. So this was like, when I was originally reading this, I'm like, okay, surely they're not about to play Kid like this. Like, Kid's going to be able to finish the job, right? I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense, because Big Mom's a Yonko. You can't just have her, even though, Puncture Relay was very interesting, and it made sense that she would be weakened, it does still make sense that she's able to fight back on, this being class, because she is this, up on a pedestal, Yonko tier combatant. So I'm like, all right. She pulls out Life or Slave, and I remember when I first read this a couple of hours ago, I was like, yo, the context is going to be scary, because there's a bunch of fodder around here. Like, I never expected Law and Kid to be intimidated by this, but I'm like, okay, if broken bones can be fixed by lifespan, and Big Mom can just drain lifespan from the spectators are working against the interest of Kid and Law, because then they work as essentially a healing bank for Big Mom. So I'm like, shit, this is really bad, because that means everything that just happened could be erased by her just draining lifespan and fixing herself.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, this is bad. This is really bad. Last Fight Lightning, I'm like, yo, is that Conqueror's hockey that she's just like flooding herself with, in addition to getting hit by this
like,
white?
What the fuck is that? Yeah.
Like, so at first, I am legit like, I was getting like, what do you call it? Like a little anxious.
Okay.
I'm like, yo, what's about to happen? And then these two reassured me. And that's where I really had, it's like some good feelings going on, because we have Kid and Law who don't break composure at all. Even though Big Mom's talking about this tickles, life or slave, being all intimidating. We have Kid saying, you think the last gasp of an old windbag scare me?
That was great,
Law talking about, your death screeches are doing my ears in. And that's when it flipped my understanding of what's going on. And it was basic. Like, when you corner a wild animal, what happens? It's going to start yelling and making itself look big. It's
going to buck back.
Yep. Nothing's changed. It's still weak. You've still beaten it and gotten it into a corner. But it's going to feign like everything is all right. It's going to say like, oh yeah, once I get out of this corner, I'm going to fuck you up. It's going to try and look as intimidating as possible because it is weak. And Kid and Law are not falling for this.
Yep.
So they're like, yeah, we get it. You're barking, Big Mom, but we're about to beat your ass. So when I saw that, I was like, yo, this is dope, right? So now this is the other part though, that kind of initiated my mixed feelings.
Okay.
This moment is cool as hell for Law and Kid, but it's underwhelming to me because it's like, well, of course they'd be able to do it if Jinbei was able to do it.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like their captains, they have, in my opinion, more ambition and more willpower than Jinbei does. And Jinbei was looking down on her. So it's kind of like, for me,
it's not the best moment. Yeah, I get it.
Like, if they would have been the original ones on
to
screen,
do it, yep.
To just looked at Big Mom and been like, yeah, you're not intimidating, it would have hit a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of like, yeah, like no.
To me, that wasn't the best. That wasn't the best moment.
Away from it,
yeah,
because they're staring down a more intimidating Big Mom than Jinbei did. Big Mom was in her most relaxed, base state, and I think Jinbei knew Big Mom wasn't really going to do anything to him.
Mm-hmm.
This is different, but it's still, it's kind of like, the Jinbei.
The moment for them to me is when Damn Punk's going off at the same time that Law is slicing Hera and splitting the cloud. That's the moment for them.
No. So let's get to that. So this is where I also say it's evident to me that the homies are literally more like children than they are the Big Mom. Because Law being able to use our room and completely silence the scenario should not completely nerf the homies where they're like waiting for orders.
They should know her no orders intrinsically. Yeah, because they're a part of her. No, I see what you're saying. The
same way that
my man thinking.
Like flip Big Mom with Naruto. If Naruto had shadow clones and they saw that
all
the
of them knew
was there, they don't need to wait for an order.
They don't have to think. It's like their brain. Yeah, exactly.
Immediate.
Like as main Naruto thinks it, the shadow clones think it as well. Like they are one. They're simpatico. This is not the case. And that's beautiful because then this means that because they're separate, their own individuals, that let's say this did kill Big Mom, Nami can still have Zeus forever.
Right.
Interesting. Right. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the same thing. Like you don't die when your parents die.
Yep.
Big Mom's already given them life. Now, like, especially if you are, a black kid, you probably heard your parents say this, I brought you into this world.
Where I'm going to take your ass out.
So Big Mom can literally take,
them out,
who she's given life to. She can take it back, which, real mothers can't do necessarily. But if she gives you life, you have life. So I'm thinking that this is indirect confirmation that Big Mom being defeated will not cause Zeus to dissipate.
I'm with you.
So that was very interesting. Very interesting that Law was able to essentially
figure that out.
Big Mom's just by silencing her.
This now makes Law
Cortisone's power.
Yeah.
Even that much cooler. I mean, it's so cool how a power
and this nerfs Apu like effect. Dramatically. Like if they're gonna fight Apu, Law just needs to fight him and take him out easy.
Just
Silence.
Oh, like Apu shows up, just our room, and Apu's just going ham, making every strong like, why is nothing happening?
And then boom, just gummo gums, and then fucking Ishi song just all at one time. Radio knife. Apu is dead.
Like, imagine if Law doesn't even like if he does it so nuanced that he makes a small like our room the size
just
of like
his vocal cord. Yeah.
So like he doesn't even know Law's like attacking him right now. He's like, what's going on? that would be crazy. But yeah, so we get to this scene where, you know, obviously Big Mom's like, what the hell's going on? Like, Prometheus, Hera, help me. Like, what are you doing? We get to Yamato. This is where I'm a little bit confused. So anything that Big Mom is touching gains the effect of our room. So Yamato doesn't necessarily understand what's happening at all, because even though there's debris and supposedly like impacts, it's touching the R room, which means that all of that, I'm assuming, was muted. So she just sees Big Mom crash through, but she doesn't hear anything, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, because she goes, Big Mom, why does that make a sound? And then Big Mom goes, wait, nothing I touch makes sound. So yeah, none of that. So she's just crashing through, and you're just seeing a hole, no noise, just hole falling through the hole.
Well, I'm saying that because like when you look at the scene of Big Mom like grabbing the frozen bomb, it looks like her arm exiting the room.
It does.
But it's like, okay, does that mean that she now muted that explosion?
I think so. I think so, because she's touching it as it's exploding. I don't think it makes a sound. I don't think it makes.
We were talking about like that is like one of the highest application of Corazon's, you know, silence abilities. Like,
I don't think his silence could do that. Like, I think he had to touch certain things to make him silent. Yeah.
It had to be within his room. Like whatever room he made, if you exited the room, it would make sound. So if this is basically anything, like he's assigning Big Mom silence.
Yeah.
And Big Mom can now charge anything else that she touches with silence.
And that shows like, I'm trying to think of another fruit like this. That's kind of like Katakuri's fruit to Luffy's fruit on like, okay, the Op fruit is that much better than like Corazon's fruit. So that's super, super interesting. And then her ass falls through and then explodes. And while she's falling through, exploding, the speech she gives, Christian, this not only does the L, but the way she takes the L makes her the weakest Yonko to me. Like the fact that this came out of her mouth is absolutely crazy to me.
I mean, look, this is something funny I saw today on Twitter. So you know the meme of someone riding a bike and then they trip themselves with the stick and then they get mad. Yeah. So it's like Big Mom riding the bike, then the stick is Law and Kid, and then she's like, "Damn you, Roger." It's like Roger's been dead for 20 years.
What you got to do with this?
You an ass whooping. And you talking about Roger, this is your fault.
She straight up said, damn it, this is all your fault. Are you listening, Roger? Why did you have to go and say all that? The world brought it. The great pirate era, your time was up, so it didn't affect you. All those brats came looking in for their chance to shine, and you left us to deal with it. The least you could have done was tell us about the One Piece before you croak. Is it real, right? Like, what? Like, Big Mom, you're saying this? What is it? Where is it? Does this country hold some answers? It's so frustrating. Like, I've said this for months, not to cut you off. I've said this for months about all of this. This arc shows complacency. This arc shows what happens when a strong pirate gets complacent. More so Big Mom than Kaido, but even Kaido still. We're going to hear it when Kaido does his backstory and when he talks to Luffy. But the fact that Big Mom said this, you're one of the strongest pirates in the verse, and yet you didn't have the gusto that these 20-something-year-olds had to go find the One Piece because you don't know if it's real?
Well, I mean, it's that.
Are you a pirate? Also, like, what?
It's that, and it's also, again, a lot of people have been asking questions like, why does Big Mom look so bad in the Conqueror's hockey perspective? And again, I would say to these people, like, again, tie this to willpower and how many other things does willpower tie into? So, like, people who understand competition, competition requires a high ego. If you're going to be the best in anything, you have to have an ego. You have to believe that you're the best.
And it makes sense why she wasn't using Conqueror's Haki and why Kaido doesn't recognize her.
Why? Like, it's not even just that. Like, why are you complaining that Roger literally caused a boom to something that you were already at the top of? You know what I mean? Like, you were already at the top. If anything, you should have been like, let me show these upstarts, like,
Odin told Kaido, but he should have told Big Mom.
Right. I mean, like, it's not even like, okay, Roger dies, and you mean to tell me large percentage of this world says I can go get that One Piece, and that doesn't piss you off, Big Mom?
Yeah.
Where you're like, let me show you, I am a king out here.
I'm the queen of the world. But yeah, no, I get
it. I am at the top of this shit. So it doesn't matter how many of you peons show up. I'm already this close. I've got a road poneglyph. I know certain things. I know I need someone to read. Like, y'all don't even know this yet.
Yeah.
But to your point, I sat on my ass for 20 years so some little rubber boy could learn all this shit that I learned, plus go pick up Robin
in 2 years
her from the world government.
3 years.
Get other road poneglyphs, show up and take mine because I'm sitting in the same spot cursing Roger for inspiring Luffy for showing up. You're right there, like, what, a couple of feet from the end zone, and you're pissed off that you sat and watched someone else get drafted and then make it all the way to where you're at. That's on you.
That's so on her. Like, man, you have Katakuri, you have a whole army that's your family, and yet you couldn't go fight Kaido for his road poneglyph. You couldn't go make moves, like go get an ancient weapon. Like, you know so much about the world. You have all these races. I don't understand.
That's about Kaido. Kaido at least enjoys competition. When Marineford showed up,
he tried to go. Yeah,
it's not even a competition he needed to be a part of. And he's like, I want to go compete.
Like, Big Mom didn't want no part of that.
Just because Big Mom, like, we don't even know what Big Mom was thinking at that point. Shanks was like, well, I at least got to go, stop
Kaido. Like, I don't give a fuck about Big Mom.
Kaido is a competitor.
Yeah.
Kaido, and when I say competition, I'm talking about anything from like capitalism to being dominant.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Strong willpower. That's the context that I'm talking about. So it's like Kaido's saying, look, I don't care that this issue has nothing to do with
me. Yeah,
don't forget, I'm the strongest.
I'm the strongest creature, and I'm showing it. Yeah.
I'm the strongest creature, so let me come remind y'all. Like, y'all are over here hyping up Whitebeard. I like to too. And Shanks is like, hey, bro. I know.
We know what you about. You don't have to come do this.
Some people coming for your ass. Because I heard from Odin and Roger. Some people coming for your ass in a couple of years. Give it 2 more years.
You go wait for that.
War.
Yeah, you go wait for that.
War. Look, I know, but
he should have went get stronger his damn self. We're gonna get on Kaido's complacency too, but it's a different level of complacency.
It's a completely different level. Completely different level.
Because Big Mom, it's like, bro, you have everything at your disposal. Why aren't you making any moves? Like, you just sat there. Like, at least Kaido got a poneglyph, like you said, went to Marineford, did certain things, and then just became depressed and gave up on life. Like, his type of complacency is different. His is a depression.
It's not even that. Kaido's complacency, while he's sleeping, his army was growing.
Yeah.
He had SAD factor, like Law and Luffy messed that up.
True. He was still doing plans.
Kaido had an operation where it's like, again, when you talk about competition in the sense of capitalism, what does any rich person tell you? You need to make your money, make money for you.
Yep.
Where you're making money while you're asleep.
And that's what Kaido was doing.
And his beast pirates is getting stronger every day until Luffy messed up that operation.
And honestly, you could say that Kaido was
completely different.
Yeah, you could say Kaido was growing his army to the point to where he was making it as large as he could before he made his move. So to your point, it's 100% a different type of complacency. Big Mom was the weakest Yonko. She has to be. Like,
Big Mom was trying to get some candy from a place that had a road poneglyph.
Yeah.
She didn't even know.
And she's trying to get the Germa. she's trying to get the Germa stuff, and I guess at the end to make clones. But that's when you think of getting the Germa. You could have been did that. Been. And like, what are these fodder clones are gonna do for you while Kaido has the smile? Like what? Like what are we talking about?
I mean, we can keep going on with this. Big Mom sees Kaido has the experimental giants, and she's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Well, you love giants. Yeah. Why aren't you pissed off? Like, shit. He doesn't even have I don't have giants, and he doesn't necessarily have the original giants, but he at least has
some
something. Like, I don't have shit."
Generic giants.
I mean, coming over here trying to recruit King in front of Kaido's face, like that's your attempt to take the New World seriously?
Okay, and also the way she performed, like on the roof, we gave her MVPs multiple times. Where was that at? You lost to Law and Kid, and again, no disrespect, love you, Kid, Surgeon of Death. You my favorite character, One Piece. But Big Mom had no reason to lose to them. But it's like you said, complacency and their willpower was just stronger. Like how does she not use Conqueror's coding? Like how did she not use Conqueror's coding, Christian? How? I don't think she can.
Don't know.
I like it has to be like
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to get into it, like Roof Piece was really Big Mom being a
support. Yeah, she was being support.
Kaido was fighting because I mean, okay, like when I think about Big Mom's contribution on the rooftop, all I remember is her hitting pretty much every supernova with Endura, right? What did Endura do to anybody? Mm-hmm. Zoro shook that off. Kid shook that off. Law shook that off. I think Kid might be due to the electromagnetic.
Yeah, I was about to say he just disappeared his junk. That's all he did.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then she hit Luffy, and then she was like, wait, why didn't that have any effect on you? Luffy had his, cliche thing. I'm made of rubber. So it's like, Endura is your contribution to Roof Piece, Big Mom? Like,
look, and I asked the fans, I wish we could have let this poll go on longer. It's only been out for like 4 hours, but
right.
So I said to my One Piece followers, Big Mom weak as Yonko, 50% no, 50% yes. It's even. Shocking. I think that's gonna change by tomorrow.
I mean, it's that, but I mean, there's also the classic story structure. Like, why would a weaker Yonko be introduced later?
Yeah, like Blackbeard's stronger than her. Kaido's stronger than her.
Devil fruit and something that negates devil fruit. So it's like,
and look, if she fought Blackbeard, which I'm hoping happens now, he will murder her. Without the use of her devil fruit.
Easy.
She's just an old lady. He's gonna murder her.
Not even close.
Yeah.
We know nothing about him, but
he's the hockey master. Like I'm sorry. That's Whitebeard. That's Roger's protege. Like no one can convince me that Shanks is not top.
It's not stronger than Big Mom. Like right. Yeah. I don't think anyone thinks Big Mom is stronger than Kaido at all.
And this honestly makes me think, hey, Luffy would have beat her 1v1. Like,
easy.
Mid-diff. I mean, without Gear 5 or Gear 4, whatever's about to come.
Okay, so all right.
Luffy would have beat her with this base shit. That's crazy.
Let's briefly talk about this. First of all, everything Hera related is nullified.
Yeah.
Off top. All right. Okay.
The fire shit, he tanked Kaido's Goro breath.
Big Mom tried to evade the mechanical bull.
Yep.
So I know she doesn't want to get hit by any Red Rock, Elephant Gun,
King Kong gun,
almost any Gear 3rd move imbued with Rio and Advanced Chris Hodges, she's not going to want to touch. Let's see.
Gatlin's gonna fuck her up.
Does she have some type of spam move that she could counter an elephant Gatling with?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
She does. Like Kaido did, but I don't think Big Mom.
I don't think she's gonna come with Napoleon like this. I've never seen her move that fast. Yeah.
Has she done anything speed wise?
Not a speed blitz, no sir. No sir.
I don't think she has speed feats at all.
She has defense feats. That's it.
She's not fast, so
nope.
I don't think she can touch Luffy. And then that's Luffy without future sight. Luffy knowing what she's gonna do and having the speed to get around it.
The Luffy that's fighting Kaido right now is whooping her ass.
I don't even see how it would be a fight. It would just be embarrassing, literally.
Mm-hmm.
The Soul Focus. I think Luffy might laugh at Soul Focus. He's like, "What are you doing?" like seriously, like, what are you doing? Is this supposed to be scary? Like, what are you doing?
No, you're 100% right. Like, his willpower, yeah, life or death. What you talking about, bitch?
Base Luffy would mollywop. Like, oh my god!
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that.
I had to. I was coming with the smoke today, Christian. Like, Big Mom, you know how much I gave her props on Roof Piece, but I have to take it back because she was support. Like, now that we see this, she was support. Oda, like you said, you're not going to introduce the strongest Yonko. The main character is not going to fight the strongest Yonko first. And I know people are going to say, well, Blackbeard, that's different. Blackbeard's in the series. They had skirmishes before, but nothing serious. Luffy went to Whole Cake Island, took his shit, and dipped. Like, what? He's not doing that. Like, there's no way on God's green earth, if Wano was where he had to go first, he's not escaping Kaido alive. I'm sorry. And he's not beating King. King is killing him.
King would have killed him.
Like, yeah.
They would have never gotten off of.
They never left the jail. They'd have been with Kid in jail. Like, if the book shit was Kaido's jail, they'd have been stuck.
I mean, I don't even. No.
The only way is if he learns Ryo from Hirogoro, but to me, he needs the Zenkai boost of Katakuri to even get to that point to be able to even do that.
No, I was saying, like, no, it's not even that. I was saying, like, no matter what happened, like, let's say that they even got on the Sunny, that wouldn't matter. Then I'm thinking, like, well, why did that matter for Big Mom? Then it hit me. Her hunger pains. Like, what's the reason why she couldn't turn into her fusion Big Mom and chase down the Sunny on Zeus? And then it was like, oh, she was constantly nerfed the entire time.
That's not happening to Kaido.
Everything like that.
If you get Kaido drunk,
it doesn't matter. So yeah, Kaido would have just chased you down in his dragon form.
He'd have been smiling. And then laughing and then crying. I love Kaido now. Yeah. I just need his backstory and then it'll complete it. But man, that's what this chapter was for me. Just shitting on Big Mom. Like, oh my gosh.
I will say this. I have to say this because you know who I am, right? So my boy.
Oh yeah, we can go to the Zoro part.
Now, the only thing I need to say about this is, as a lot of people, if you're active on Twitter, know, I don't know why this theory is so controversial, but I will say this, man. Look, something is gonna happen, and I feel like the fact that Oda decided to skip over the Reaper, but he does show Zoro falling right below Brook is his direct
saying it's not Brook. Yeah.
Not Brook and Robin. So
and you know what I think? Marco's gonna fly and grab him, heal him up with, like, bro, you might get ZKK.
It's gonna be something. But my point, and all Zoro fans know this, it's like, yo, two things. If Zoro was done doing something this arc, like if he has nothing else to do, why is Oda still showing this man?
Yeah, fair. He would Frankie
why
him.
Bring up bring up the Reaper? Why bring and show Zoro
him falling? Yeah.
You could just say the dude's out, man.
Like, we haven't seen Sanji since. No, great point. We haven't seen Frankie. No, you're absolutely right.
On top of that,
what's up with Orochi and fucking?
No.
What is that?
I'm about to cover all of that. And the last part is, to me, as a Zoro fan, I will say this. This is one thing I love about our fans. We love to see Zoro fucked up. Okay, so when I got on Twitter today, every Zoro fan was like, "Damn, look how fucked up Zoro is." You know, something big's about to happen. So I just wanted to. I mean, it's hilarious to me how happy we get when this dude takes damage. But anyways, yeah, there's still some confusion.
Like, she put that mask on. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Doing? Like, I
have no idea.
What's the point? What is the point? Like, why did Oda show this? And again, it's one of these puzzle pieces where it's like, we know that when Oda shows something, it's usually for a purpose.
Like that, so like I have no idea on that side. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how we've been predicting things right for, like, Big Mom, Kid, Law, Kaido, like the main people who I don't think we should predict right. But, like, the story of Wano itself. No idea what's going on with Orochi. I have no fucking idea. Zero.
I am glad to see that Raizo is now having the advantage.
It's over, baby. Let's go.
I mean, again, everybody knew this. I mean, when we saw that this was a test of endurance, especially with heat.
Better than Odin?
Like, better than what?
Is it better than Odin? I saw people on Twitter saying this is a better feat than Odin.
It's not better than Odin. But I was saying that because of Raizo's and all of the Scabbards, shame at what happened to Odin with that.
Yeah.
If you give any of them an endurance test,
they're doing it.
Oh, they're doing that with a smile. So it's like, I don't know why Fuko thought that, this was going to be something that he could get Raizo to stalemate. If this is the thing, Raizo's like, this is the most poetic way for me to die. Please let me die like this. I will stand.
And he didn't move.
Die like this.
Is he dead? You think he's dead?
And
you think
he's not dead yet? But
you think it's gonna be like Whitebeard where he died standing up?
I don't know, because here's my thing. Like, why? Like, okay, so basically the way that I understand this jutsu, they both caught each other, and as long as they keep like their hand sign up, the other one's frozen, right? So now that Fukuro Kujo has fallen
and moved his hands,
but shouldn't Raizo now be free to move while still keeping Fukuro Kujo paralyzed? Because Fuko broke his jutsu, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Raizo should still have him in his jutsu, but should also be free to move around. So I don't know if Raizo is just going to stand there and let himself, burn to death, or if he's going to move to protect himself while keeping Fukuro Kujo frozen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's the one where I'm like, I'm just happy it's over. Like, I'm happy it's fucking over. Raizo, good dub on you, sir.
The other part, this is the last part.
The last important part is the Momo Zunisha stuff.
Well, before that, the last other part that gave me sort of mixed feelings, and I said that it works and it also annoys me a little bit, is the context of the bombs finishing off Big Mom.
Yeah.
So, I get it because, people who want to downplay this can say something like, well, Law injured her and exhausted her, and Kid pushed her off of Onigashima.
And the bombs finished, yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, on one side, the Yonkos have been built up so highly that explaining that every single thing going your way leads to their defeat kind of makes sense. So it's like her tanking this giant nuke-like explosion.
To me, you know what it's like? It's like the fact that Kaido had to lift up the island the whole time. Like, people aren't saying anything about how Kaido has to hold up Onigashima. Like, I feel like that's that.
Yeah, yes and no. Like, yes, that is supposedly weakening Kaido, so you can make that argument to defend Kaido, but it's a badass feat, though. You know what I mean? Like, Kaido's doing everything that he's done while
doing that. Kaido. Yeah, fair enough.
And it looks dope. And what he's about to do is just so, just evil and bad. He's about to just smash. So it's like, you look at that, and it's the perfect scenario. If he loses, you got an excuse, quote unquote. If he wins, it's like, look what he did while he beat
winning. Yeah, facts.
Big Mom just looks clumsy here. And so if you want to be the kind of person who downplays everything, then you have a route to downplay Law and Kid by saying, oh, the bombs are what did it. So that's annoying. It works to a degree because it's Big Mom, it's a Yonko. So you need everything that you can get.
And Marco, the stuff that Marco said, the next time you awake from all of this, it's gonna not be your era. She fell off, and like he said, she was gonna fall off, and like I think she's not done. Like she's she's gonna end up getting with her crew.
Oh yeah,
and she's gonna have to leave Wano at some point within the next couple of chapters. Like I'm telling, like you said, the Blackbeard thing. I think that's gonna happen, and she's gonna have to dip.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's gonna like just fall into the ocean and Otis.
No. They're gonna leave. She's gonna leave on her own accord, or they're gonna come pick her up because she's so mortally damaged to bring her to the ship.
It has to be. I mean,
she's not going back up there. There's
no way. But I mean, her ship and her crew is down there, except for Pharaoh Sparrow. But Pharaoh Sparrow, I'm expecting to be dead. Like,
he done.
He should be dropping his body into the ocean or some shit.
Yep.
So, getting back to the main course, I do
the
like
final
these
thing,
closing shots of Law and Kid, because this is what we were talking about last chapter, where I said I get the sense that Law and Kid are, in the midst of a hockey bloom. So as soon as they win, they're out. Like they have pretty much infinite stamina while they're in that manic, we have to win state. As soon as they win, they're gonna realize they are completely depleted. Because they said we awakened one time, like 3 chapters ago. I'm exhausted. In this chapter alone, Kid told Big Mom, "Oh, you had like what did he say? He's like, here's another punk." He gave her another damn punk.
Oh yeah, another damn punk shot. Yeah.
So it's like he's pushing past his limits. This dude already said using a sign the first time when he
was his in,
class,
in first K room should have been it. Like Law was like, this is all I have left.
Right. They pushed past it. So Oda definitely gave me this energy of, oh yeah, no, they are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Kid, the most impressive thing to me that Kid's done and shown is his endurance. He has tanked punches and kicks and hockey attacks from Big Mom
and Kaido.
Blank.
Yeah.
And Kaido. But I'm talking about specifically since
Big Mom,
especially when
he took big hockey punches to the face. Yeah.
To the face, just straight to the face, and was smiling.
Yep.
So it's like his endurance is something impressive. But Oda really conveys that sense of they did it. It's a sigh of relief, and they are exhausted. I love the crew celebrations. But that last part, it's pretty straightforward. I like that Oda, confirms what we know, but it is now confirmed. Zunisha is the one that was talking to Momo. We knew that, but we got the confirmation.
I just think it's interesting. Zunisha was Joy Boy's Nakama. Like who put Zunisha in this 800-year sentence? And people are saying it was the former user of Tama's fruit, but people need to remember Tama's fruit is solely for smiles. And real animals.
It's animals too.
Yeah, so I guess it could control Zunisha. Never mind then. It could be Tama's fruit.
I don't know. But Zunisha.
Or is Zunisha or is it from Uranus? People are saying that since Prometheus could control sea creatures, Uranus can control animals. But to me, I feel like that's double dipping into the Tama thing. Right? Yeah, I agree. And even triple dipping because Prometheus, But
I will say that Zunisha's scale, being so massive, does, in my opinion, lead some kind of credit to perhaps Joy Boy being a giant, and maybe the owner of that giant straw hat, that emu, is.
Let me just ask: is Luffy's fruits awakening? Is it going to turn him into a giant?
I hope not.
I've been thinking about that. Like, that's kind of been like, I feel like that's like the easy out for Oda.
Why would you make Luffy giant?
I don't know. Like, it was just something that I thought about because you said,
I get that. But theoretically, Luffy with Gear 3rd should be able, and especially with his mastery now, should be able to
do his whole body.
Giant. We take things like,
but maybe that's why to awaken it, you have to make he can only do one body part at a time because that's the limits of his fruit. But when you awaken it, it pushes past and goes giant mode.
I mean, yeah, I could see it. What I'm a little bit more curious about,
and I don't want this theory to happen either. This is just something I want to present to the class.
But if we're talking about height-based things, something that I've always been curious about is why or how are all the admirals so giant? They're not giants,
but they're like Whitebeard tall.
They're giant. So,
yeah.
So is this just a thing where the range of height in One Piece is just way more drastic? Because then
I think it's because of all the crossbreeding, throughout all the years of
it might be crossbreeding, but okay, so you're caught up with Baki Hanma, right? Yeah. To a degree, right?
To a degree,
how Jack Hanma had a surgery to enlarge his body and become larger. It makes me feel does Vegapunk experiment on top tier
fighters heights
admirals? Is there once you reach a certain level you get a secondary growth spurt? What's going on?
You're right.
People like Brook, who's Brook's admiral height, but
normal.
He's normal.
Same with Whitebeard. Whitebeard is taller than admirals, and he's a human, straight up, no giant, nothing.
what is that about? Is that like a hormone
But
thing?
then Roger's 6 foot. Like that's the other like
no, that's what I'm saying. Like
Garp
Odin
6 foot.
is giant, right?
Yeah.
He's freaking giant. But
no,
like,
Garp is 6'4". Excuse me, my bad. Yeah, Garp's pretty tall.
What is the correlation in like height?
I think Oda just likes tall things. Like I think Oda probably is in real life is a short man. It was like, nah, bro, my character's gonna be tall.
I mean, it's something like that. And this is a complete side note, but when we're talking about Odin and like Zoro, so like people have seen this before. Like if you take the actual character sheets, Enma scales to Odin, right? Like it's a normal sword in Odin's hand.
It's not to Zoro.
If you actually like, if Zoro was wielding the Enma that Odin was wielding, like that thing would be fucking massive.
It'd be a spear.
So it's like not only that, but things also apparently are able to like shrink and enlarge in scale. So like it makes me wonder, would like Whitebeard's like weapon shrink to like any wielder?
I don't.
If someone else comes up and wields it, is it now to your scale?
That's fucking crazy. But anything on Zunisha before we finish up?
Yeah, no. I mean, we talked about things like explosions and putting out fire with the water. I don't really know what the relevance here of Momo talking to Yamato about
Zunisha is. Yeah, like I don't get where Oda's going with this either. Like I think this is what he's excited about the most because this is the most unexpected thing like that. Theory crafters and YouTube One Piece fans, they're not like we can maybe guess the Luffy, Kaido, the fights with that shit. We ain't guessing this. Like, and people have been saying Momotaro, but like we've already gotten the Momotaro things. I have no idea what Zunisha does to Momo, that connection.
Yeah, no, I have no idea either. Like it's to the point where to me that last panel isn't a panel that is like so important in story so much as it is a narrative thing for, you know, like the meta for people to come up with theories.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what is the point of Momo randomly telling Yamato that Zunisha committed a serious crime 800 years ago? Like either Yamato already knows the crime because she has
the journal. Yeah.
And so it's like you're preaching to the choir, or you're telling her something that you have no intentions of detailing what that crime is at this moment. So that those lines are strictly for us, the reader, to be like, oh yeah, Zunisha committed a crime 800 years ago. What was it? He's specifically Joy Boy's companion. So it's like an info dump that isn't hyper relative to Yamato right now. It's for us. So especially because we have a freaking break. So
we do have a break.
Speculated about this for a while.
I think the tragedy is coming up now that all the fights are out of the way. Kaido backstory incoming, but I think we got to get the tragedy of R.I.P. Hiyori. It's coming up next couple of chapters, or some scabbards are gonna die. One of the two, and then right after that, Kaido backstory and Luffy beats Kaido. It's coming. It's coming, Christian. It's coming. We're there.
No. I agree because Hiyori's on some fuck shit right now. Like,
and that's why I think we're going on a break. Like
he's just sitting here waiting to get murked for some reason. Do something.
What if she poisoned herself in Orochi?
Bruh, you know how mad I would be. You know how unnecessary. Like you really showed up on the battlefield.
The poison yourself.
Overkill. To be like if she does that, like I'm sorry, I'm gonna have the same reaction I had with Kiku. When I first saw Kiku, I was very like, yo, like I don't care about like all the politics behind all this stuff. Like that's cool or whatever. She's badass though. I'm like, we need more of that. She let me down, right?
Yeah.
If Yori showed up and poisoned herself,
he is gonna put poison on her lips and kissed Orochi as whatever her doppelganger's name is. I can't think of it right now, but as the geisha, and was like, oh yes, I love you, and she's like,
Komurasaki.
Yeah, Komurasaki, and like she's like, haha, I'm Hiyori. I had poison on my lips. Now we're both gonna die.
Like, no, like that's so unnecessary. I would be like, look, I had you on a pedestal. I said, you are top tier.
Zoro's future baby mama.
with my favorite One Piece. I've reserved that, and you do that like you're get out of my
Yeah.
face. Get out of my face. You just hurting me just to hurt me. Get out of my face.
Well, that's pretty much it, ladies and gents. We have a break next week, so we'll probably put out a theory video or a discussion sometime next week. So y'all be on the lookout for that, or we'll talk about another manga, one of the two, or both. But Christian, tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
Hollinger94 on Twitter, Art Season on all other platforms, or Design Season LLC on any other platform.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow Christian. Like we said, we got more manga content coming. Now that we're in the new year, it's time to bring on another series. So probably during this break, we'll probably do a Kaiju number 8 video or whatever me and Christian decide, because we haven't decided what the next manga is we're going to discuss. It might be Undead Unluck. It might be Kaiju number 8, one of them. So be on the lookout for that. You can follow me at LimBWT, subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to wherever you get your podcast at. And yeah, be on the lookout for the next video next week. Until then, have a good one and peace.
Peace.